Chapter 32. Sarabi. Sarabi had waited as long as she could, but she could no longer hold off on making this decision. Scar, Nala, and Zazu should be back by now, even if they had continued to Garamba. As promised, Sarabi had assembled a search party when Scar and the others hadn't returned along with the new moon. But just as the lionesses were preparing to leave, a family of zebras that had stopped for rest at the waterhole while on their way to the Pemba forest reported seeing a cub and red-billed hornbill near Mount K. Sarabi had figured if Nala was with Zazu, it meant Scar had indeed found her. She'd wondered why Scar would continue in the opposite direction of Pride Rock instead of returning home with Nala. But she did not want the other lionesses to witness her questioning their leader. All that mattered was that they were safe. She had called off the search. But that was 2 days ago, which meant Nala had now been away from home for 6 days. Scar wasn't the most empathetic leader, but he had to know that keeping Serafina and her cub apart for this long was unacceptable. The fact that he had not returned with Nala could only mean one thing. They were both hurt, or worse. She closed her eyes and silently spoke to Mufasa, asking her soulmate to infuse her with the wisdom and strength he once employed as leader of this pride. She knew what she needed to do. She just had to make the decision to do it. The other lionesses were spread around Pride Rock, most in the sleeping quarters, but others patrolling the perimeter and keeping watch over the eland that was procured last night. It was time for her to gather them together so that she could dispatch a search party out into the jungle. Sarabi slowly made her way from deep in the cave where she had been sequestered. She kept her eyes straight ahead as she passed the lionesses and cubs restlessly hovering about the sleeping quarters. She could feel the others following her out onto the landing. By the time she turned around, all but the lionesses who were out patrolling were with her. Expectation hummed in the air. I told you all that I would come to a decision if Scar and Nala had not returned by now. She sucked in a deep breath and slowly released it. I have decided that we... Just then, something caught her attention out of the corner of her eye. Sarabi turned and squinted, trying to decide if what she was seeing was real or just a figment of her imagination. 4 figures were running towards the clearing from the direction of the waterhole. It couldn't be. Simba? Sarabi whispered. She pushed through the circle of lionesses and sprinted down the side of Pride Rock. Sarabi ran so fast that her lungs burned within her chest. She ran with everything she had within her. By the time she reached the figures, she could barely breathe, but Sarabi couldn't tell if it was from exertion or the stunning sight before her. Simba? Was it really him? Mama! It was. It was Simba. Her boy was alive, and he was here. Oh, Simba! Sarabi cried. She wrapped her son in a powerful embrace and wondered how she would ever be able to let go. Oh, Simba, you're alive! You're alive! She registered the other lionesses gathering around them, shock and jubilance mixing in a joyful reunion. She looked up long enough to see Serafina capturing Nala in the same embrace that Sarabi gave her own cub, unwilling to let him go. Sarabi reared back just enough to look down at her son. Simba, where? How? She didn't even know what she wanted to ask first. But before she could ask anything, her son disengaged from her embrace and took several steps back. Sarabi instantly felt the loss. Simba, what are you doing? Come back here. Not yet, he said. Mother, I have to tell you something. Her heart skipped a beat. Whatever it is, it can wait, Sarabi said. She needed to hold him, to make sure he was really here. It can't wait, Simba said. In a louder voice, he said, the entire pride needs to hear this. Simba, I already told you, Nala said, But he cut her off. No, Nala, I have to do this. An uneasy sensation quivered in the pit of Sarabi's stomach. There was nothing more important than holding her son. But whatever Simba had to tell her, it seemed serious, at least to him. Mother, it was my fault that we lost father, he stated. I am the reason he went down into the gorge. I knew better than to venture there, but Scar... He paused. Sarabi studied him as his brow furrowed. Then, after several moments, his eyes widened. Scar, he said again. What about Scar? Sarabi asked. Understanding dawned in Simba's eyes. Slowly, he said, Scar told me to go down to the gorge. He did this. He must have planned it all along. He sent me to the gorge that day. The next thing I knew, the stampede started, and then Father came from out of nowhere to rescue me. He was swept up by the wildebeests. Sarabi's blood ran cold. Mufasa's own brother was the one who had plotted against him. He had killed her mate, and he had tried to kill her son. Where is he? Sarabi gritted through clenched teeth. We don't have to worry about Scar anymore, Nala said. Nala, did you? Serafina asked. Nala shook her head. We didn't kill him, but he did try to kill Simba. Sarabi listened in escalating horror as Nala recounted their harrowing battle against Scar. Her gratitude towards Nala, Zazu, and Simba's new friends, Timon and Pumbaa, could only be matched by the rage she felt towards Scar. We don't have to worry about Scar anymore, Nala said. Even if another predator did not attack him before he healed from his injuries, I don't think he would return to Pride Rock. Not when he learns that you all have returned. He will know, then, that he has been exposed as a murderer, Sarabi said. She walked up to Simba and cradled his jaw in her paw. You have nothing to explain or confess to anyone in this pride, Simba. But even if Scar had not been the one behind your father's accident, she said, it was no reason for you to leave. Scar told me I had to. He said that everyone would. Simba choked on the words. Enough. Sarabi gathered him into an embrace again. She hoped her murderous brother-in-law was not foolish enough to show his face here again. If he did, she would take great pleasure in tearing his body apart, limb by limb. Sarabi stared into his eyes. There is nothing you could do that I would not forgive. This is your home, Simba. You are always welcome here. Sarabi heard someone clearing their throat just behind her. She turned to find Kito, Sefu, Fayola, Fanti, and the others standing side by side. Her sister spoke up. If you don't mind, dear sister, the members of this pride would like to salute our king, Kito said. As one, the lionesses and their cubs all bowed before them. Then, one by one, they took turns welcoming Simba back into the pride. Look who's back! Never thought we'd see you again. Sarabi whipped around. It was the leader of the hyena pack, the one they called Shenzi. Yeah, the other bonsai said. I was sure you would be dead within a day after we chased you off the Pride Lands. Thandi ran up to him and tackled him to the ground. She pinned him down with both paws and bared her teeth. Not yet, Thandi, Sarabi ordered. Truth be told, she didn't care what Thandi did to the hyenas, but she wanted to confirm something before the lioness unleashed her destruction on them. She walked up to the mangy dogs. You ran my son away from his home? Sarabi asked. Shenji held up her paws. We were only following Scar's orders. He wanted us to kill him, but we just ran him off instead. So, you see, if it weren't for us, the little furball would be dead. We saved him. A collective growl emerged from the lionesses, but Sarabi held up her paw, staving off their attack. She'd wanted the hyena to confirm that Scar was the one behind this, and Shinji had. For that, she would spare their lives, but that was as far as her generosity stretched. Leave, Sarabi told the hyenas. I want you and the rest of your kind gone from this land and never, ever return.